The Sleepwalker's Secret. The investigation intensifies. The crisp autumn air held a chill as Detective Emily Hartley stood outside the town library, her breath visible in the early morning light. The theft of the rare first edition had shaken Willow Creek to its core, casting a shadow of unease over the once serene community. Emily, known for her unwavering determination and sharp intellect, was determined to unravel the mystery that seemed to elude logic and reason. Inside the library, Emily was greeted by the librarian, Ms. Evelyn Moore, a gentle soul with wispy gray hair and a penchant for historical mysteries. Ms. Moore led Emily to the spot where the prized book had once rested, a void now filled with questions and uncertainty. "I can't believe someone would take it," Ms. Moore murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "It was the centerpiece of our collection, a treasure cherished by generations of readers." Emily nodded sympathetically, her gaze sweeping over the meticulously arranged shelves of leather-bound classics and weathered manuscripts. The library was a haven of knowledge, its walls lined with stories that spanned centuries. The missing book, a rare gem coveted by collectors, had vanished without a trace, leaving behind a void that no ordinary theft could fill. "Did anyone notice anything unusual on the night of the theft?" Emily inquired, her voice gentle yet probing. Ms. Moore shook her head, her eyes clouded with worry. "No, Detective. It was a quiet night, as always. I locked up and went home, never suspecting." Emily nodded thoughtfully, her mind racing through the possibilities. The methodical nature of the theft, the careful removal of the book from its protective casing, suggested a deliberate intent, a calculated choice of target rather than a crime of opportunity. "Have there been any other incidents like this in Willow Creek recently?" Emily asked, her brow furrowing slightly. Ms. Moore hesitated, as if weighing her words carefully. "Not exactly like this, no. There was a break-in at the bakery a few years ago, but nothing of this magnitude. This feels personal." Emily's gaze hardened with resolve. "I need a list of everyone who had access to the library after hours, as well as a list of recent visitors and anyone who might have shown an unusual interest in our collection." Ms. Moore nodded, her hands trembling slightly as she gathered papers from her desk. Emily took notes, her mind already sifting through the intricate web of possibilities. She thanked Ms. Moore for her cooperation and promised to keep her updated, then stepped back out into the crisp autumn air. Over the next few days, Emily immersed herself in the fabric of Willow Creek once more. She interviewed shop owners and residents, piecing together a mosaic of the town's rhythms and routines. The theft at the library remained an enigma, a puzzle that defied easy solutions. No one had seen anything out of the ordinary, and no suspicious characters had been spotted lurking in the shadows. Then, 2 weeks later, another theft shook Willow Creek to its core. This time, it was an assortment of jewelry stolen from several homes scattered throughout the town. Each incident left behind a trail of unanswered questions and uneasy whispers, further fueling the town's growing sense of unease. Emily arrived swiftly at the scene of the latest theft, a modest cottage nestled amidst towering oak trees and winding paths. The elderly couple who lived there, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, greeted Emily with weary smiles, their eyes clouded with worry. "They took my mother's wedding ring," Mrs. Thompson whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. "It was all I had left of her." Emily's heart went out to them, her resolve hardened with each stolen memory and shattered piece of trust. The thief, or thieves, had struck again under the cover of darkness, their motives obscured by shadows and unanswered questions. "The pattern is unmistakable," Emily murmured to herself as she examined the scene. "These thefts are not random." The sheriff, a stout man with a perpetual twinkle in his eye, nodded grimly beside her. "You think it's the same person?" Emily nodded, her gaze fixed on the jewelry box left open on the dresser. The method suggests a deliberate choice of targets, items of personal or historical significance. But why? The sheriff wondered aloud, his voice tinged with frustration. And how? No one's seen a thing. It's like a ghost is haunting us. Emily's mind raced with possibilities as she surveyed the scene, the careful arrangement of stolen items, the absence of any signs of forced entry. The thief, or thieves, had been methodical, precise, leaving behind no trace of their nocturnal escapades. "It's not a ghost, Sheriff," Emily replied, her voice firm and resolute. "It's a person who knows Willow Creek intimately, who moves in the shadows undetected." As the days turned into weeks, the thefts continued sporadically, each incident leaving Willow Creek more unsettled than before. The town, once a sanctuary of tranquility, now bristled with suspicion and mistrust, its streets alive with whispers and uneasy glances. It was during one of Emily's late-night stakeouts that the first clue surfaced, a shadowy figure slipping away from a dimly lit alley near the town square. Emily gave chase, her heart pounding with adrenaline as she navigated the labyrinth of narrow streets and quiet gardens. But the figure eluded her, disappearing into the night like a wisp of smoke. Frustration gnawed at Emily's resolve, but she refused to yield. She reviewed surveillance footage, analyzed witness statements, and delved deeper into the town's history with a fervor bordering on obsession. The thief, or thieves, remained elusive, their motives murky and their methods baffling. Then, a breakthrough came in the most unexpected form. Jacob Barnes, a quiet and unassuming man who worked odd jobs around town, was brought in for questioning after being spotted near the scene of a recent theft. His eyes, normally gentle and unassuming, darted nervously as Emily studied him from across the interrogation table. "Mr. Barnes, can you explain why you were in the vicinity of Mrs. Henderson's house last Tuesday night?" Emily asked, her voice steady despite the racing of her pulse. Jacob shifted uncomfortably in his chair, his hands twisting in his lap. I was walking home. It's the shortest way from the diner where I work. Did you notice anything unusual that night?" Emily pressed, her eyes locked on his. Jacob hesitated, his brow furrowing. "No, nothing. It was quiet." Emily leaned forward slightly. "You understand, Mr. Barnes, that we take these thefts very seriously. Several valuable items have gone missing from homes in Willow Creek, and we need to account for everyone's whereabouts." "I swear, Detective," Jacob said earnestly, his voice tinged with desperation. "I don't know anything about those thefts. I was just walking home." Emily studied him for a long moment, weighing his words against the evidence at hand. Jacob Barnes was known for his quiet demeanor and honest work ethic. He had no criminal record, no history of trouble with the law. And yet, he had been near the scene of the crime on multiple occasions. As Emily continued her investigation, a pattern began to emerge, a pattern that defied logic and challenged her every assumption. The thefts occurred exclusively at night, always under the cover of darkness. Witnesses reported seeing shadows moving in the periphery, fleeting glimpses of figures slipping away into the night. But one detail stood out amidst the chaos, the consistent claim from the alleged thief, Jacob Barnes, that he was sleepwalking during each theft. It was a defense as improbable as it was perplexing, leaving Emily grappling with a question that defied easy answers. Could Jacob's nocturnal wanderings be the key to unlocking the mystery of the sleepwalker's secret? Or was it merely a clever ruse, a smokescreen to divert attention from a more sinister truth? As Emily delved deeper into Jacob's background, she uncovered a history of sleep disorders in his family, a legacy of restless nights and subconscious wanderings. She consulted with experts, delving into the complexities of sleepwalking and its potential to manifest in complex behaviors, triggered by deep-seated psychological stress or unresolved trauma. Yet doubts lingered in Emily's mind, doubts that echoed the skepticism simmering within the tight-knit community of Willow Creek. Could Jacob's actions be a cover for something more sinister, a calculated deception designed to evade justice and exploit the town's trust? As the investigation intensified, tensions mounted in Willow Creek. The stolen items, a silver pocket watch from Mrs. Jenkins' antique shop, a rare first edition from the town library, an assortment of jewelry from several homes, were more than mere objects. They were symbols of a community's cherished memories and shared history, now tarnished by suspicion and uncertainty. With each passing day, Emily found herself drawn deeper into the labyrinth of secrets and lies that concealed the truth. She installed surveillance cameras in Jacob's home, hoping to capture evidence that would either confirm his innocence or expose the elaborate charade that threatened to unravel the fabric of their tranquil town. But the night held its own secrets, its shadows concealing truths that eluded even the keenest of eyes. As Emily sifted through hours of footage and sifted through the town's murky past, she began to unravel the threads of a conspiracy that reached far beyond the boundaries of Willow Creek.